Hey everybody, we're back after our long break for refurbishment. We're back on the couch with our Ask Norm segment. As Rob Strange puts here, Ask Norm is a great concept, looking forward to future installments. So, sorry for the break, we've been remodeling, we've done a lot of work in here. You can see new furniture and Norm will probably, Norm will tell you a little bit about it. We've got Norm on the couch, our good buddy Jim Hodson from Advantage Audio, which is one of the better post-production facilities in the area.
We'd like to think so.
Mr. Mark Agnesi over here.
What's up?
So, do you want to say anything about the refurbishment, Norm?
Well, a lot of people were inquiring what's going on, and what happened was 3 stores down that way, their toilets weren't working. Our toilet was working fine, but they put a scope in the plumbing and found that the problem was back in our repair shop.
Yeah.
So they were going to have to dig a 9-foot trench all the way through the store, all the way to the repair shop. So we moved 200 guitars out of here. We figured, well, we're going to have to remodel anyhow, so why not go for it?
Yeah.
Then they were able to figure out a way to fix it from the repair shop, so we didn't have to dig the trench, but we were already halfway into a remodel, so we said, what the hell? So we've got a much better idea of space here, and we're trying to, thanks to Mark and Nick doing a lot of work here, Mark's design here, and so we've got a nice new setup. And I've got my buddy over here, Jim Hodson, who's a tremendous audio engineer, and he's got this post-production studio. You do a lot of cartoons and a lot of animation.
Yep, audio for television animation, that's what we pretty much specialize in, yeah. And I've been doing it for about 28 years in the location in Burbank, yeah.
Right. And you also, years ago, I know you're buddies with Larry Carlton, and you used to record him and all that, and a lot of other great guitar players. So he's got the sickness, and he's come in, and we've kind of made him a victim, and he's bought a lot of really beautiful guitars from us, really incredible stuff. Yeah. And we've got, a couple questions. One of them is very appropriate.
Actually, you want me to lead off with that? Okay. Yeah, we had a question from someone in Ohio talking about, I have a home studio and I've got some vintage guitars, but I'm interested in creating a sort of sound palette or a quiver, and what would you suggest?
Well, I'll let the victim speak.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, I'm a Tele guy, so I'd have to have a nice vintage Tele.
Cornerstone of a good collection.
51, 52, little blackguard, that would be a lot of fun.
You have a Nocaster that you got from us. That's a pretty terrific guitar, right?
I'm pretty spoiled by you guys. You guys have set me up good. Acoustically, I'd go to I'd love to have a J185. I happen to have a 56 J185.
Blonde one,
but which is just, I can't walk past the guitar without picking it up. It's just, it just jumps in your hands. It's such a great sounding guitar. And recently I got a Martin, got a 45 herringbone, B28 here.
That sounded great too.
Amazing guitar. And then how about a 59 355 mono? That would be.
That's a good cornerstone.
That's a favorite of all of us.
That would be a nice little guitar to have.
You've seen some of those guitars, some of Jimmy's guitars there. What do you think about that 185? That's like my favorite.
185
acoustic model
is stunning. And people who don't know about the 185s is like the smaller. It still looks like a jumbo, but it's a little smaller body. They sit in the track a little bit better. They don't get as tubby as sometimes the 200s can sound a little tubby in the track. They're just absolutely fantastic. And the one that you got in particular, the back and sides on that guitar are just absolutely ridiculous.
People that know about those guitars, it's always a favorite. Like, it's Alan Rogan's favorite guitar.
Absolutely.
The famous legendary Stones guitar tech, and
I can walk by that guitar, a week after I've played it, and it's always in tune.
Yeah.
It's just remarkable. It's just a great dry piece of wood. It just doesn't get.
For those of you that don't know, it's the predecessor to the Everly Brothers. Right. So they took the J185, they put some heavier pick guards on them and stars on the neck, and made them not sound quite as good. Right. And so the 185 is like a great guitar because it's not weighed down by a lot of pick guard, and they really do sound terrific. And they're very well balanced.
Look amazing, don't they? They've got that little Maltese cross.
Iron crosses,
Without question, the 200 was always the star of the show. A lot of people didn't really know what a 185 was, but if you're into them at all, you know how great they sound.
And it's also, for a studio, it's nice to have a good Gretsch guitar and a good Rickenbacker guitar.
Which I've got both of
Yeah.
because of you guys.
Well,
Some
you know,
great examples. 6120 Gretsch is just gorgeous.
Yep.
57, I believe. And then I've got a 64 Ricky double bound, which is...
That's an amazing guitar, too. So, I mean, it just covers the whole palette, of sounds, and it's like a painter with one paintbrush. I mean, there's a thin stroke, there's a thick stroke, it's just pretty much
one that's
what
big
you're looking
splashy
for
color.
that, too. So, I mean, what do you think, Mark?
I mean, you hit on most of the stuff. I think, acoustic guitars, a J45 is never a bad thing to have around. A mahogany back acoustic guitar. We talked about
Small body
D28s.
Martins.
A small, like an 018 or an 017, the all mahogany Martins.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then
Double
your
018s.
Yeah, double 018s always track really nice. Always sit in the
That's
track.
my
nice.
favorite. Yeah.
Then there's cool Rickenbackers. There's cool 12 strings, too, like a Rickenbacker or the Fender Electric
Like
12.
Yeah.
Acoustic 12.
Big Gill
Again,
Jumbo
yeah,
12.
well,
Yeah, big Gill Jumbo.
So-
Not
Yeah.
even
A
to
lot of-
mention getting into baritones and stuff like that.
Yes.
Sitars and basically, to answer his question, he's completely screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no end. There is no
Right.
end.
There's no easy
Right,
answer.
We'll be
And
seeing you for a long time.
Yeah, start saving.
how many guitars you need, it's always one more, isn't it?
So let's go to another one.
All right. Okay, so this is, Sebastian Parra wants to know, what's the most affordable vintage Fender Tele you could recommend to me? Like getting into owning a vintage Tele, it doesn't matter if it's a wide range, 70s or standard configuration. What would Norm recommend?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you get a great Blackguard, that's a fantastic
We just
guitar.
talked about, yeah.
But so I mean, if you're buying it strictly for sound and utility, you might go with one that is not completely original if you're on a budget.
Yeah.
Or if you go to, say, a 70s guitar, they're generally not my favorite era, but they have a unique sound and
Bit
they
thinner
work for
sounding, aren't they,
tracks,
generally?
So, a lot of people use them in the studio. Sometimes something even odd that you wouldn't think is a great sounding guitar works in a track really
just
well.
work perfectly.
So, it's...
For me, the Tele Customs, the Keith guy, just because you've heard that guitar on a lot of records, they're not a fortune. You get the twang of the bridge pickup, you get the big fat wide range sound, and they're a few $1,000s as compared to tens of thousands of dollars on the other Teles you've heard on lots of records. I think.
Right.
I mean, you see the bands like Radiohead and a lot of the Coldplay and a lot of the new bands all using wide range humbucker Tele guitars. They're not drastically out of the price range that most people can afford to buy still. So I think
when I first came to LA, I bring guitars to a lot of sessions and stuff like that, and almost every session guitar player had a Telecaster that he added a humbucking to. Like,
Really?
Andy Summers has that
Yeah.
Tele with the added humbucker,
Yeah.
and Keith, and all that. But, that was like a guitar that covered a lot of...
Well, it seems to make a lot of sense. You have the slightly softer sound in the front, and you could overdrive that and get that nice creamy balance with the crispy Tele pickup at the back, I suppose.
especially if you're keeping your guitar stock with the cap on the neck pickup. If you play it in many old like Blackguards and stuff, you go up to that front position. It's not intended to give you a lot of sound. So the humbucker gives you a hell of a lot more variety and options mixed with that bright
the wide
pickup.
range humbucker that was a Seth Lover
thing,
invention as well, right? So the king of knowing what you're doing. Actually, follow-on question from that from Adam Lane. He's saying, can you explain what out of phase means in regard to pickups? Who wants to
jump on that?
Who wants to jump? Well, I mean,
It's the way they're wired, basically, to kind of give you that sort of almost the choked sound. I don't know how.
it's almost like using a wah-wah pedal
And
at
keeping it halfway
cocked.
cocked, yeah.
And you can do it on Les Pauls by turning the front pickup round. Peter Green famously turned his pickup round so the pole pieces were the other way. But it gives you a little more tone in the that whole middle position.
The T-Bone Walker sound, if you will. Like
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
ES5s,
It's a
that,
thinner, more nasal kind of a sound. All right, so that went well. Okay. Clement M. Hey Norm, I just wanted to know what is for you the best hollow body old Gibson or Epiphone for playing the blues?
Well, the standard question to that, or standard answer to that, is a 355. I mean, because you have B.B. King, Freddie King was a 345.
Oh, the King.
Little
yeah.
Milton, who is one of my favorites of all time. I mean, just Otis Rush, I mean,
Chuck
you know,
Berry.
Chuck Berry, I mean, on and on and on.
Yeah.
So that always, those thin semi-hollows seem to be, you know, the guitar of choice because they have properties of both an acoustic and an electric
They're flexible,
guitar.
a lot of flexibility.
Not like the solid properties of a solid body and a
Right.
hollow body because
Right.
they have the block of wood going
Right.
down. One of my favorite guitars of all times is an ES330. Now, using them live, you got to be very careful for feedback.
Right.
But they're P90s and they sound fantastic. They're completely hollow. And
Johnny
it's-
Guitar Watson.
I've got a 59.
Yeah.
I've got a 59 330.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Oh, it's remarkable. You just got to be careful of the feedback. But boy, you crank it
Yeah,
up.
because
and watch
that's a
out, man.
completely hollow body.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it
have
is.
the center block. So.
Right.
It's the
Something
lazy
moving
man's
around a
guitar
little.
to sit on a couch and watch TV because you can
Yeah.
actually
Hear
play an
yourself,
electric
yeah.
guitar
Yeah.
and hear it.
Yeah.
But those P90s scream, man. It's,
Yeah.
it's,
They
it's,
do.
it's great.
And then,
Sorry.
you know, years ago when I was playing, we used to back up Albert Collins, and Albert Collins played a Telly.
With a humbucker.
And with a humbucker.
With a humbucker,
Another guy with a
yeah.
humbucker in there.
Out of phase. Yeah.
And he played a quad reverb amp, and it was like a 412, I think it was. It was a little bigger than a Super, and I mean, you know, and he had like a 200-foot guitar cord before everybody had the
Wireless.
you know,
Wireless camera.
He'd stand outside in front of the club, and he'd bring people in, you know. And, you
From
know,
outside the
from the
club?
park, from the parking lot. It would,
and he was
That's
a character. And what I loved about Albert's playing too is it wasn't just slow blues shuffle. I mean, he played funk. He played all kinds of different things that
Changes,
were,
yeah.
with some chord changes and just rhythm. You know, where you know some of the blues guys. I mean, you know, I love BB, but almost everything other than the Thrill Is Gone is either slow blues shuffle,
Yeah.
slow blues shuffle, and you know. But Albert really mixed it up. He was really one of the great.
Yeah.
And Little Milton,
Awesome.
again, most people don't know about Little Milton, but he's also one of
Fantastic.
my favorites. I mean, because he was big band blues, very, you know, intelligent blues. Arrangements were terrific,
Yeah,
and his
yeah.
playing and vocals were terrific. Bobby Bland, I mean, Wayne Bennett was Bobby Bland's guy.
Little
so-
Milton was great. Okay, we're getting a little bit stuck for time. I wanted to ask you this. We got a message from Keg Lift Mafia. Not quite sure where that person comes from. What's my guitar worth?
Well, how the fuck would I know? You don't even tell me what it is. So, I mean.
Great question, though.
Yeah, a terrific question. We do appraisals. We do charge for appraisals,
coming.
but you know, at least let me know what.
hey,
you
do we
have.
do appraisals over the phone?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Just put the guitar near the phone. We'll tell you what it's worth.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and I just a real quick one. It said, "Hey Norman, Nick, this is from Stuart Chang, but for everybody, what's your holy grail guitar?" It's a difficult question, but you gotta
Jimmy,
just
tell us,
nutshell it.
buddy.
Come on, Jim.
It just, I mean, right off the bat, for me, it's my 51 Nocaster. It's just amazing.
That's your desert island guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta have it. It's just
What
great.
about you, Nick? You
That's
play
my
all the time?
53 Telly that I can't live without, that I bought from you about 30 years ago, and it's still my favorite thing.
Mark?
I mean, as much as a Les Paul guy as a Blackguard would, if I could only have one, it would be a flat pole piece
Yeah.
bridge. Even an Blackguard Esquire even would do
Yeah,
it for me.
sure.
Just a butterscotch blonde Blackguard and a flat pole pickup is pretty much all I would need for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go in the other direction. I like the, you know, semi-hollow Gibsons, 335, 45,
Yeah.
55, and the 330 for the completely hollow.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to have one guitar, but thank goodness
We
people
don't.
don't need to have one
Yeah,
guitar.
exactly.
People need a lot of
That's
guitars.
right.
And
Yeah.
everybody says, how many guitars do I need? And you know what the answer is in unison? One more. So,
One more. I'm still trying to figure that out.
All right. Well, thanks very much to our special guest,
Hey.
Mr. Jim
Thank you,
Hodson.
guys.
Jim.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll have more Ask Norm for you soon. All right, nice to be back.
thanks for being patient while we were doing our remodel. And we're sorry it took a little while, but hopefully you'll see it's a little more organized than you.
It's chaos off camera. Everything.
Yeah,
it's
everything's in
rubble.
that corner over
Store's
there.
looking great, though.
Well, you can't see, but this bit's good.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.